The JFS Food Pantry receives donations from the North Texas Food Bank and other community partners including Aldi, Walmart, Target, and Kroger, and then distributes the donated food to those in need. Typically, more than 700 cars will receive food weekly from the pantry's drive-thru distribution line. While the reach of this program is incredible, the huge number of cars requires volunteers like you to work smoothly and efficiently so that as many families can be served as quickly as possible. All volunteers are required to wear a mask for the entirety of the shift. If you do not bring your own, JFS will provide you with one. There will also be face shields, gloves, gowns, and hand sanitizer, should you choose to use them. Distribution takes place outside. Please make sure that you dress appropriately for the weather. There are multiple volunteer roles on distribution day: traffic controllers, people distributing forms to the clients in line, interviewers, people packing items in the pantry, and distributors. The distribution takes the form of an oversized drive-thru. Cars are ushered onto the property through the entrance off of Montfort Drive, and traffic controllers organize them into lanes to wait. While the clients are waiting in the line, volunteers give out a form and a pencil for each family to fill out. Right before distribution, the cars are filed into 2 lanes. Next to the food pantry doors, volunteer interviewers copy down the information that the client wrote on their form. Many cars pick up for more than one family, and a form is filled out for each family they intend to pick up food for. The interviewers then write the number of families in each car with a chalk pen on the windshield. While interviewers are copying down the information, volunteers load meat, eggs, bread, and other miscellaneous donations into the trunk of the vehicle. The car then pulls around to the front of the building where a second group of volunteers looks for the number on the windshield and loads each car with bags of produce and a box of shelf-stable food items for each family. Finally, the cars exit JFS property and continue on with their day. Now that you have a general idea of the process, we will explain each job in detail. Traffic controllers are responsible for fitting as many cars on JFS property as possible, while maintaining a smooth and organized flow of cars for the distributors. There are 4 main locations for volunteers. The first location is directly off of Montfort Drive, where the cars enter the parking lot. There is typically a traffic officer directing cars into the parking lot, and the volunteer guides them into 3 lanes once they've entered the lot. Next, a volunteer will be working near the corner of the building to separate these 3 lanes into 4 lanes to maximize the amount of cars that can wait in the parking lot. On the west side of the building, near the dumpsters, either a volunteer or JFS security guard will be funneling the 4 lanes of cars into just 2 lanes before they receive their food. Lastly, at the front corner of the building, a volunteer will guide the cars as they move from the first stop to the second, where cars are still divided into 2 lanes. This person alternates which lane the car is sent to based on which lane has more room. In order for each car to be served, there is certain information that JFS needs. JFS has created a questionnaire for the interviewers to give each car, with all of the necessary information. Clients will need to fill out a form with all of that information, and put this form on their dashboard when they are done. They will need to fill out a separate form for each family they plan to pick up food for. Interviewers will need to relay the number of families in the car to the distributors, and copy down the information that is on the client's form or forms, while those distributing food load the trunks of their cars. Be sure to ask the client to open their trunk, and, for the safety of everyone involved, if someone does not yet have their mask on, please gently remind them to put it on. Everyone should have on a mask, but remain polite and civil in your efforts. Finally, you will write the number of families in the car and what size diapers, if any, they need on the windshield with a window marker. You will know all of this information from the forms they have filled out. Volunteers who are assigned to this role will be working with a small group inside the food pantry. Their role is to make sure that the team doing food distribution on the pantry side of the building has everything they need. We want to make sure there's enough to distribute, but don't want to leave perishable items out of the fridges and freezers for too long. Those who are inside will fill bags with the meat that goes out to each family and load it into a cart. The number of each item that should be put into a bag will be written on the whiteboard on the pantry wall. You will always need to keep an eye out for the things that the team outside may need. They should always have 2 carts of each item, meat, eggs, bread, and miscellaneous items, available to them. When they start to run low, you will load carts with what they need and take them the additional carts. Distributors are responsible for loading food into the client's cars. There are 2 groups of volunteers who will be filling this role. Distribution is the most physically demanding assignment. The first group works with the interviewers by the food pantry entrance on the side of the building and loads clients' cars with perishable food items like meat, eggs, and bread, along with other miscellaneous donations. The second group works in the front of the building and loads boxes of shelf-stable food and bags of fresh produce into trunks. 2 or 3 volunteers in the front will also be responsible for handing out diapers and wipes to those who need them. At the food pantry doors, distributors will be loading bags of meat, cartons of eggs, bread products, and other miscellaneous donations from community partners into each car. Each week, every family will receive a different amount of food. Those amounts will be communicated by food pantry staff before the line starts rolling through. All of the food will be in grocery carts, which will be restocked regularly by other volunteers. As a car approaches, an interviewer will tell them how many families are in the car and if any of them keep kosher. This information will also be written on the windshield with a marker. If a family keeps kosher, the interviewer will communicate that information with the team that's working in the pantry, and they will bring out the food that the family needs. It is also important to try and load perishable items onto the sides of the trunk to leave room in the middle for shelf-stable items and fresh produce. In the front of the building, the process is largely the same. As a car pulls up, you will look for the number of families that is written on the windshield, and you will load a box of shelf-stable food and a bag of fresh produce for each family. Try to put the boxes in the trunk, but if there is not enough space, ask the family where they would like it. Diapers are also given out at the front, and each car will have the size of diaper that they need written on the windshield. You will be told how much of each item you can give to each family by a staff member when you arrive. Finally, if a family keeps kosher, the process continues as normal, but they only receive produce in front, as they have already received the shelf-stable items at the first stop. Once again, JFS serves hundreds of families every week, and this would not be possible without volunteers. Thank you so much for your help, and we look forward to working with you. We will be sure to go over any of your questions and review this information on the day of your assignment.